So it's like when you're trying to lose weight, are you gonna take Ozempic or are you gonna go to the gym and eat
Yeah,
better?
pretty much everybody you can think of is trying to rap nowadays. But as long as you feel like you're unique and like you're one out of all the artists in this world, then I think you're automatically winning. And honestly, your music is gonna grow just by believing in yourself.
All my feelings for you, this shit gon' end the day. I'm moving on, oh baby, watch as I turn the page. Watch me walk around with my new girl, take your breath away.
All right, everybody, and we are now rolling. And I have CG here in today's episode of Caffeinated Creatives. Welcome, CG.
Thank you.
CG?
Yeah.
My accent is funny sometimes, and I get confused. How am I supposed to say certain words?
Yeah.
So, tell me about yourself a little bit. You were telling me earlier you were born in Tennessee, right?
Yeah.
And you were raised in Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's your story a little bit? Tell me about you.
So yeah, I was born in Tennessee and I was raised for, I would say, majority of my life in Bowling Green, Kentucky. I didn't start doing music. I've always had a love for music, but I really didn't start doing it until I was about 18 years old. That's when I recorded my very first song. And I started doing the rap path for, I would say, all the way till I was about 21. And then I was noticed that I started liking country, especially when you're from Kentucky. Country music's pretty strong there. So I was like, I might as well try it out. And ever since then, I've been hooked on the country genre. So now I'm trying to pursue a career in that.
Awesome. What are your, how did you get introduced to music?
I would say, so my dad's a DJ. And so I've always been around music my entire life. I've always pictured like, what's the word for it? Manifest it. Like I would see it in my head as like a performer, but I just never took the opportunity to try it out. So like I've always had a love for music. And then one day I just decided I'm going to try this out. Because I've always had, especially my biggest, I would say my role model as far as music is Michael Jackson. So, yeah.
Dude, I love Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
I know we had a little chat before we started shooting, and I was telling you about Michael Jackson, but hearing that you love Michael Jackson,
love it.
That's music to my heart.
Yeah.
Wow. Which songs? What are your favorite songs from Michael Jackson?
Oh, man. I would definitely say my number one all time, since I was a kid, I've always loved Thriller. I would say PRT's up there. Lately, as I got older, I started listening to his newer music, but I'm always going to be like his biggest fan of his older music for sure, especially like the Jackson 5 era.
Oh, yeah.
Love that time period too.
That must have been a very interesting life for him, becoming super famous from a very young age.
Yeah.
And throughout his whole life, all he experienced was that. That must really shape somebody or an artist in one way or another, Interesting. What elements do you think you got inspiration from when it comes to Michael Jackson? His songwriting, arranging, lyrics, melodies?
I think what got me hooked first was definitely his dancing.
Dancing, interesting.
Definitely his dancing, and then of course his melodies for sure. They're just so catchy. I think Michael Jackson's just a brilliant artist all around. So it's like every aspect from him just inspires me.
Oh,
it definitely does, yeah.
Likewise, I loved every time I hear his songs. I can't help but notice all these layers, these three-dimensional elements and that's, I think, him and Quincy Jones. I was telling you earlier how much I loved Quincy Jones and Michael Jackson, and how when I hear his songs, Michael Jackson's songs, it's like hearing a big band because you hear all these different elements, the backgrounds, thick layers, and you can hear these techniques like solely. That's the way to structure chords. When things are moving together, or like these spread voicings with vocals, which are also used in horns. I love his writing.
Yeah.
There was a record that was posthumously, or it was put out after he died. Is it called posthumously?
I think so.
I think so too, but I'm unsure. There was a song called Green. I don't know, Green. I don't remember the title, but I just remember hearing it first time. It was just these thick vocals.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael Jackson, cool. There's so many artists who you can clearly tell were inspired by him.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, in the whole R&B community.
Yeah.
And when he passed away, I think that created the hole for Bruno Mars to come out more, because I think that's where he started to become more well known.
Yeah.
Because are you a Bruno Mars person?
I love Bruno Mars. Definitely.
I love Bruno Mars. He looks such a down to earth person. His songs are great too.
Yeah.
Awesome. And what you working on these days?
Right now, I'm definitely trying to work on putting out a country album for the summer. But yeah, just strictly trying to push the country genre out in general. I'm trying to stay back from the rap world. I do record rap just for fun, because rapping is fun. Making rap music is fun, but I feel like at this point in our generation right now, country music is evolving like crazy, and pretty much everybody you can think of is trying to rap nowadays. I just think doing country is just different, especially from Kentucky. You know, it's just a different aspect. But yeah, I'm just trying to make it big with the country.
Now, how has rap, you think, evolved? You're saying that everybody's trying to rap nowadays. So
Yeah.
is that the main reason you stepped out from the rap world?
Yeah, because I feel like, like I said, like everybody's trying to rap, and, everything's not, original anymore. Pretty much everybody's doing the same thing, just kind of remixed a little bit in a way, like nothing's really original in rap. I mean, you have a few artists that definitely stand out, like mainstream rappers that stand out these days, but I feel like as far as like the underground aspect, it's like really hard to just try to create that unique rap sound, because like I feel like this generation focuses too much on what's popular instead of like what they think is good,
I think to an extent it existed. I remember one of my teachers said that you do either music for the sake of art or for the grand population, for the people. Because and I think the artists that will stand the time, stand whatever the saying is, that will last, are the people that really hone in being an artist and trying to have their own craft and their own sound.
Yeah.
We just talked about Michael Jackson. I mean, that will exist for so long and will influence people. Him and folks who I think sometimes being stubborn is actually a good quality.
Yeah.
Because then you really don't care about all the noise and buzz. Because you can be the artist where you're like, oh, what's popular? Oh, how can I do that? How can I remake that sound? How can I foresee another sound? How can I, all this, how can I, instead of, I am inspired by all these artists, all this music. I've spent time trying to be a good musician, have skills. Now, let's do something that fulfills me in a way. Because I think you got to fulfill yourself. Because if you try to fulfill others first, then that's, I think, going to be a disaster.
Yeah.
Because then you're not going to feel fulfilled. And what if you're fulfilling others in the expense of not fulfilling yourself?
Yeah.
And I think these are a lot of, mental thoughts or just way of thinking or looking at art for itself. Plus, think of these AI nowadays. Dude, have you seen these new apps out there?
Yeah.
It's crazy. There is this, I'm sure you know what a DAW is, right? So there is a DAW especially for AI voice.
Yeah.
Kits.ai, but that's not so much a DAW. There's Ace AI or something like that. but you can't. You either buy it or you rent to own it, and it's not cheap. It's around like $300 to $500, but you can create you can sample hours of your voice, and you can literally just do it without you having to sing.
Yeah.
And they have like 40 plus singers. It's not bad, which is kind of crazy. Like you can sell that it's actually a real singer, which is what's scary about it. And then you have these other apps where you can type in the lyrics and then it comes out with a song. You can describe, and it's scary. But now, what of the market is it gonna get rid of these things?
Oh man.
Can of worms am I opening?
Yeah. yeah. The AI game is really starting to come up, and it's I mean, like, because I feel like even like bigger artists today, I feel like a lot of them artists really do use that kind of stuff too. Because like there's always writer's block and all of that kind of stuff. So I feel like AI is definitely going to try to take over the game. Eventually, I definitely see it in the future for sure, where most artists are going to be trying to use that instead of just writing genuine lyrics, I would say.
I think it's the artist's responsibility to disrupt these sort of things. And it's okay. I'm going to say an example. Let's say somebody's got trauma. They have the easy way of dealing with it, which is going to grab alcohol, drugs, or actually going and doing the work. And then now using that analogy, if you have writer's block, you can just be like, okay, I might call another songwriter who's good.
Yeah.
Or I do some work and read about literature, read and do learning, But there's a fast way out where you can just, here's my lyrics, please give me a lyrics with the style of this and this,
Yeah.
which is easy. So it's like when you're trying to lose weight, are you going to take Ozempic or are you going to go to the gym and eat better?
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes, and a lot of people will go with the easy answer, but the easy answer is not going to be lengthy.
Yeah.
It's not going to give you the real result that you're looking for. Now, the question is, where is the line of it becoming a tool versus it going against what it's like to be, what artistry is about?
I think, like you were saying, like, and you can definitely tell, like, if a song's written with like passion and emotion, and then you can just also tell like this song's definitely AI generated. That's one thing that because with an audience, I feel like what catches their attention is definitely the lyrics. So I mean, like, artists can use AI all they want, but at the same time, you're not going to get that that golden product, because like you got bigger artists, like for example like Chris Brown. You don't see artists like that using AI or anything like that. People can tell like they're genuine lyrics. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's meaning and life experience behind it.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. I mean, we're in 2025, and I remember my friend was telling me, hey, look, you got to check out this app called ChatGPT. It was like the first iterations, and it wasn't bad. I mean, I've used it to better emails and stuff, and every month it was like a mile ahead of the game. You have generative this, generative that. You have now everybody using AI to help this and that, which is, it's interesting. And then, the other day I learned how much energy utilizing, if you go to ChatGPT and you write a prompt, how much energy, and apparently, don't cancel me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Apparently, it uses 6 bottles of water if you put in one prompt. So I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah.
So like there's the energy aspect of it. Same thing with like crypto mining and all that stuff. But anyway, we're still at the AI game. Have you ever used it?
For as far as the music aspect, definitely not. I might have used it like a couple years ago to generate like some, cover photos and stuff like that. If I just didn't have, like, for example, when I went away to basic training,
Mm.
I was still trying to drop music, but of course, I didn't have the time or anything to like get a cover art going or anything like that. So what I did was I used the AI app, which was I would say around the time when AI just started making its way into the world, to just generate cover art photos. Like I probably put in like 4 original photos in just like 10 seconds. It gave me like 200 photos of like just
I know which one you're talking
just
about.
random stuff, and it actually does look cool, and it actually worked out. And like I did use one of them for one of my older projects, but I would say that's about the only time I did that. I actually did a semester at Western Kentucky. I would say, what was this? About last year, and which I don't care to say this now because I'm not in school no more. But I definitely did use AI on some of the assignments I did because I think they had us writing like it was like a 3-page essays, like almost every 3 weeks, and I was like. And at the same time, I was trying to balance out being like an artist. So I was like, I really do not have the time to just sit down and just write a 3-page essay over something I do not want to write about. Because like I've always been good at writing, but if it's not something I want to write about, it's just not for me. So I used AI for that.
I understand. I really needed that aspect of it. Usually things that I was mostly good at was because either I had a really good teacher who made things interesting,
Yeah.
or I was doing something that really interested me.
Yeah.
I have ADHD.
Same. Yeah.
ADHD and recently being diagnosed with autism level 1, which is apparently a lot of folks with ADHD have autism, which is really interesting, but that's a subject that I'm learning so much about, and so many people have different like knowledge on it.
Yeah.
So for me, when I saw what autism presented, it always looked like folks with higher support needs, and I'm somebody with less support needs, but I have times where I struggle a little bit more. But that whole aspect of understanding, I went for like, I don't know, 20 plus years not knowing,
Yeah.
well, not understanding myself. And I've had definitely struggles, but guitar was one of the first thing that grounded me. And I've been playing that since I was 13 or something like that. And then I've studied 7 other instruments and got into video because I freaking love visual stuff and music, and that really grounded me. So I definitely understand what you're talking about, because that was a time when I had to write a lot of papers and I was hating it.
Yeah.
It wasn't interesting.
Yeah.
And the class wasn't interesting. So there am I.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing that I've experienced is when I was starting, I don't want to call myself an artist, a creator, I want to say. The more I sat on something, the less excitement I had, and then I didn't release. So I created this not a law, but this way of creating something that I have to ride the excitement. I have to finish it to as good as I think it'll be okay with it, move on and put it out. Because everything can be better, but I think the betterment comes in the quantity and not in overthinking one thing, and then you're 5 years later, you're still doing one song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is why being an artist is so hard. Because
Definitely.
you want to be better, you want to put out something because you're putting your heart out in a way to the grand public, and you want people to like it.
Yeah.
But the hardest lesson is there will be people who will not like your music. There are people who will not like you.
Facts.
And that can be hurtful. But if you don't have this is what it is, can't please everybody,
Yeah.
then, That's why being an artist is hard.
It definitely
And a lot of
is.
people don't see those struggles, and of course, it's an unbalanced act of how can you make money and how can you be stable.
Hmm. Yeah, it definitely is hard. Because for the longest, I was like trying to be a perfectionist, especially in the studio. I remember one time, I booked a studio session last year, and my girlfriend was here for this too. It was around the time I just started in country music, and when you're starting something new, you just can't help to automatically want to be good at it. So I'm just in the studio trying to train myself to get into this genre and everything, and I'm like, it's like take after take. I think that whole 2 hours of a session, I did like 2 lines tops because I just kept retaking after retake. I was trying to be a perfectionist when I just really need to learn. Like, even though it may sound like an A+ song, there's still going to be people that just won't like it. That's the thing about being an artist, is growing out of
Exactly.
that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then that's one thing we gotta be just accepting,
Hmm.
or we gotta accept that some people might hate it because A, they might be jealous, B, they just want to hate something,
Yeah.
you know. Well, that's the noise,
Hmm.
you just we gotta get through that noise, which is sometimes, of course, difficult.
It is.
I was talking to a movie director, or somebody who directs short films and things like that, and I saw other people say similar types of advice. I asked him, "How do you know when to move on from a take?
Hmm.
Like, how do you know?" Because I used to do hundreds of takes as
Hmm.
a guitarist, and when I'm producing vocals, I have this idea in my head, and I'm like, I want this. But there are these things to consider, like um, I can only do as good as I have to consider the limitations that they also having. So if the person I'm producing, they didn't work a lot on their voice, or things like that, there will be a limitation. I can't be thinking of something that's greater than that. I can do the best I can and
Hmm.
offer my knowledge, and then when I push them just a little, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Now, going back, what the guy was saying is, whenever he sees diminishing returns, he moves on. So he gives notes, and if there's positive change, he does a couple more takes, and when the takes are becoming um, less less improved, then he
Hmm.
moves on,
Yeah.
which I think is an understandable way of going forward. What is your experience in studio?
Like, as far as what?
Like, how do you know when you're ready to move on from a take?
Oh, so now, I've with the studio I'm in with Nashville. I have a really good engineer who, like, knows a pretty good sound. So
Hmm.
usually, whenever I record, I get a secondhand opinion. I'll
Hmm.
be like, hey, do you think that was good, or should I run it back? And it's not every bar. I don't know. I just like there's just certain lines whenever I'm recording, I just know, like, which most of the time what I do before I go to the studio, I kind of like rehearse in a way so I know exactly how I want it to sound.
Hmm.
And so a technique what I usually do is when I go record, I record with my headphones off, like I don't hear myself again.
Interesting.
And it's kind of like how it's almost like I'm not recording, because I feel
Mm.
like I'm more comfortable just like singing it without realizing I'm recording. And then what I do is I record it with my headphones off, and then after I'm done with that line, I go back and hear it. And I don't know why I started doing that. I think I'm just really not the type of person to record. I don't know how you would call it, with like hearing your vocals at the same time. I guess you can say, like, especially if you're on auto tune, trying to like catch it and everything like that. I'd rather just record it as if it was like a raw recording. So I would definitely say I have my techniques. Over the years, I've kind of like created different techniques of like recording and stuff for me to be as comfortable as possible. Because, studio sessions are not really, they're definitely not cheap, especially if you want a good studio with a good mic, a good engineer that knows what they're doing. It's not cheap. So it's like I try to make the best I can out of the time I have in those sessions. So I definitely rehearse before sessions. Like, for example, I got a session next Thursday. Every day I'm rehearsing the same song, so I know for a fact when I go in there, it's just going to be like one take, none of that 5 takes per line, which now with this new studio here, what we do is, even though if I don't get it, like I don't like how I want it the first take, we just run through the song, and then we go back after we finish the song to see, what did we not like, what could have sounded better and whatnot. So yeah.
I think that's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah.
I totally understand what you're saying, and I thought a lot about it because I am very similar. So every time I had a gig, I had to kind of go to the place like an hour early, kind of get acquainted with the location
Yeah.
for comfort. So the word is comfort and how you can gain comfort with where you are. I've played gigs where I've practiced my bum off, and for some reason I couldn't get 50% out of that.
Yeah.
And I go home and I nail everything.
Yeah.
It's all in the nerves, I think, and what sort of things can gets us to be nervous.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I'm a big energy guy, so things can affect my mood that affects my playing.
Exactly
So I totally
me.
understand you. 'Cause
Yeah.
for a long time, I was told, "Oh, you have a nice talking voice. You should sing," and I hated my voice.
Yeah.
I hated hearing it.
Yeah.
And the people liked it. And I'm like, I don't know how you like it.
Yeah.
I can take it. And it took me a long time to be comfortable listening and mixing my own voice and things like that. Because I don't know. You perceive your own voice with your head differently than when you hear it
Yeah.
recorded.
Yeah.
So hearing that when you're recording is just odd.
It is.
So I get it. I get what you're saying, and it totally makes sense. What you're doing is to gain personal comfort, to not overthink, not overanalyze, but to be your most natural performing self. Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Yeah, that exactly makes sense. And like I'm just like you. I'm a big energy person. I can literally feel the atmosphere. Like anything slightly can just throw me off. It don't matter what it is. A sound effect when I'm recording, weather, what I'm wearing, like anything like that. I'm also big with who's in there with me. I prefer it's just be me and the engineer, that's in my studio session. I'm not like everybody else where they just have like their whole friend group
Oh,
or
yeah.
additional guests. Like, no, I'm there to record a product. I'm trying to be as comfortable as I can, to get the best product. I don't need anything like changing my vibe or anything like that. Like, even when I go record, my phone's on D&D. Like, don't get on my phone or nothing like that. Because, like, I really do connect. Or like as an artist, especially if you're passionate, you really can connect to your music,
I think that's all incredibly important.
Yeah.
I completely understand and resonate all of that. Like atmosphere, vibe, and even smell and all of that can contribute to a better performance. And when you're a studio, you are literally being your most vulnerable self. Like performance and studio are kind of similar, but they are also different.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to do the best you can and push yourself and really put your whole thing down. And if you have so many people in there that somebody makes a weird face, now you're like, why are they doing that?
Yeah.
All that is affected. I've been there, man.
Yeah.
I've had sessions where too many people were there, and I'm like,
Yeah, I can't do it. I'd rather just be in there by myself, Especially, I'm big on that. Yeah, especially like somebody making the wrong face, it's like, could I do something better or something like that? But that's just as an artist, you just can't care what other people think. You just got to do what you got to do.
Well, that's a hard thing to reach.
Yeah.
It's in a way, some people will consider that being cocky and things like that. And
Yeah.
believe me, I've been called all of those, even though I personally know that I can be better. I can go do, practice more and do better.
Mm-hmm.
But if you project more confidence, people can, or stubbornness, people could be like, oh, that guy's cocky. That guy is like walking like that.
Yeah.
It's the other people's perceptions, and these words travel faster than other words,
Yeah.
which is so weird about that.
Which I don't even think people do consider as cocky or showing off, but really just in the music game, you really got to be mentally tough for it.
Yeah.
It's not really meant for everybody because a lot of people, especially like in the rap game, they try to step in the music world trying to rap and everything, but they don't understand what really comes with it. And I think if you stay with the music long enough, you really start to learn like a lot of things does come with music, especially your confidence. You definitely got to have, which I know, I'm not saying that I have it the best, but like I'm still learning with it, but like you definitely got to have self-confidence, like believing in yourself, knowing that you can get there to wherever you want to do, you know what I mean? But yeah, you definitely got to believe in yourself, then try to have everybody else believe in you, because I feel like as an artist in the beginning stages, you want all the people to like basically be on your side and everything like that. But you got to realize, like in this music game, everybody, I'm not going to say everybody, but a lot of people in this world do music, so you got to be real with yourself at the same time. But as long as you feel like you're unique and like you're one out of all the artists in this world, then I think you're automatically winning. And honestly, your music is going to grow just by believing in yourself.
These are great words.
Yeah.
Great words. I completely agree. Completely agree. I'm without thought at the moment, but I had a lot of thoughts while you were talking about that.
Yeah.
There are so many things an artist gotta be, especially these days. When you're an artist, I can think of like 10 different hats that gotta be worn at maybe different times.
Yeah.
But like with this whole content consumption, I don't know if that's a thing. Content consumption.
Yeah.
You've got to create so much. You've got to have a brand. You've got to have visuals. You got to have songs. You've got to have presence. You got to post. It's so much to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's an overwhelming amount of tasks to do to be an artist.
Yeah.
How do you? What is your perspective in that regard?
So, I really didn't start taking like music really like serious to the max, like understanding there's a lot to it until I was like maybe a year after I started music. Cause at first, I just thought, hey, I would record a song, drop it the same day, send it to a bunch of my friends from high school and all that other stuff, and expected them to like repost and share it like that. And that's how I thought that's how you would blow up in the industry. And then it's really not, you got to really learn, like, there's really a lot of people in this world that wants the same dream as you do. And you're going to have to do something that like makes you stand out. You can't just drop a song. We got to get on that realization. Like, we're not on that kind of Drake level where you can just drop a song and have a million people tuned in. You got to do a lot.
Yep. It can be the best freaking song, but if you have zero plans of marketing,
Yeah.
it's not going to go anywhere.
It's not.
I mean, look at how much folks, I forgot, like this guy at the Grammys, he paid I don't know how much money to plug a song, millions, paid for radio stations, and that's one of the reasons the song blew up.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked with folks who had zero budgets, and we worked so much on the song. It was a great song. It went nowhere. We had songs we worked on hell for 1/4 of it, but that person had plans on marketing and that went somewhere.
Yeah.
But even what you said, you got your friends trying that. It's not really their job to plug our songs.
It's not.
So you can't, I don't want to say you, us or we, or us as artists, we can't just put out something and be like, yeah, I've got 3,000 friends on Facebook. If they all share it, I'm going to blow up. But nobody's going to be like, oh, this guy posted a song. Not a lot of them.
No.
First, you got to be freaking on it. You got to be so excited. You got to be your own number one fan to post it and talk about it everywhere and have some probably budget and thought on how to plug it.
Yeah.
Before people will care about it.
Exactly. And I think a lot of people these days, they're not going to really catch on until it's a popular thing. That's what you always got to look at. Numbers do not lie, especially for like an audience. A lot of people, now there's some people that, that just really love your music. I'm like, hey, this kid got talent. And then they'll share it, listen to it and all that. But there's a lot of people in this world that be like, I don't see a lot of people listening to this artist, so why should I,
Yeah. There were so many people, like for instance, the Disney guy who created the Disney characters. I think he was dissed by so many people that apparently I think he wasn't going to be anything unless he actually just, he stuck with it. He said, fuck everybody, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
So sometimes people will say that you are not good enough or you can't go anywhere. And the only thing you can say is, fuck it, I will.
Yeah.
Again, the same thing what I said earlier. People can, their comment can come from their own fear, their own lack of achievements, their own, problems, and they just want to push somebody down to make themselves feel better. I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean, like, I look at it as this, like, you may not like it, but I guarantee somebody else will.
And I think that's a good way of looking at it. If you are passionate about it, if you think the song is done, who you are there to prove it isn't.
Yeah.
And there will be people who like it, and there will be people who don't. That's the thing. How are you dealing it within yourself? How can you? Because it's not just like fuck him. It will affect us, as we talked about how energy people we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you deal with that? Do you feel rejection sensitivity?
Whenever I first started, definitely, yeah. And, as a growing artist, it takes a toll on you because, as an artist, when you first start out, you just want people to really acknowledge, you're like, hey, I got this talent. I'm trying to show the world what I got, and part of growing, you're going to have to deal with rejection, like, especially from people that you love and stuff like that. There's been plenty of songs where people I grew up with, like, I send it to them and they'd be like, hey, I think you should work on this and that, which, I think for me, I'm the type where I can take constructive criticism. Like, I actually do look at the negative comments of like what I should work on for a little bit of, of consideration. But like, honestly, I'm just at the stage now in my career, like, as long as I know it sounds good, I really could care less what everybody else thinks. Like, I don't even send my music off to people I know anymore, or I may let my girlfriend hear like a snippet or two, but even then, I'm just like, only thing I care about right now is my own opinion, for the most part, because I feel like once I get over that stage, I'll be more comfortable dropping more music in a way,
Yep. Because you're also working on the comfort of just being okay with putting stuff out.
Yeah.
That whole thing is such a process, It's really interesting,
It takes time.
Takes time. I actually took a whole year kind of off of music production. I produced for so long. Produced probably a few thousand songs, and I got tired of it.
Yeah.
Creatively, and just, I wanted to revamp the whole way I'm looking at things.
Yeah.
And wanted to hone in and do it differently, and sometimes it is good to take breaks from being an artist, being a producer, being
Definitely.
X, and I'm not talking about Twitter X.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. So, and that was helpful. I was worried first that, oh, my knowledge, my things will kind of diminish. You know what they say, if you don't do it, you lose it. But I think that's wrong to an extent.
Everybody
You
needs
know,
breaks.
they say if you learn how to bike, I don't know if you heard us say, you will never forget how to bike.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, well, how can you not utilize that? It's a skill, right? So if you learn how to do something, I mean, I guess if you don't play guitar for a long time, you won't be technically as fast and things like that, but you won't forget it completely.
No.
That's what I was afraid of when I felt really tired about production and I needed a break, and I felt bad about it, to be honest with you. I'm like, oh, is this going to hinder me? But if I just went into a different direction and I let that simmer. That's where I got really skilled with videography, with a lot of things, with editing and stuff like that, and then I listened to a lot of podcasts. I learned by listening
Yeah.
and hearing. I hate reading; it just bores me.
Yeah, especially if you got ADHD, reading is not.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's not.
But the way I consume all this is if I like something, like the newest thing I learned was how to use VocalLine Pro 6. Have you heard of that?
I've heard of it.
Dude, that shit is good.
Mm-hmm.
I used to spend 6+ hours tuning 70, I don't know, takes, and then I'm under timing it because I probably spend days aligning everything. I bought this app and I'm like, gee, you tuned it up, you tune the mains, and you literally can use that app to align and tune to the guide track. So even if it's an untuned double, it tunes it to the guide,
Yeah.
which is mental. It's such a game changer. I knew about that app like years ago, but it was very expensive, like $300-400. Kind of like Melodyne, that's also pretty expensive, but they do partner with Isotope now, so you can pretty much have Melodyne, not the editor, but the essential for like, I don't know, $19 a month. Anyway, I don't know where I was going. Oh yeah, so I watched a bunch of videos, and then now when I use it, it's kind of imprinted in my mind. But I would not have the time, not the time, but the patience to read its book or
Yeah,
whatever.
Definitely not. No.
Not that I don't want to. I mean, I guess I don't want to. It's boring.
Yeah. I don't like reading.
It's weird to say because people want you to read. I remember being in high school and we had these freaking summer books that we had to read, and
Yeah.
and we got these 3 books of thick books, and I'm like, oh no, I'm on a break and I have to read. I just got the video version of it, watched it,
Yeah.
and we had quizzes. I'm like, why do you do that?
Yeah. I mean, like, I'd rather watch and listen to something than just read it, man. But I mean, that's just me. Like, I've had ADHD almost all my life. I just can't focus on one thing. I need something to get my attention, like, to grasp on. If I'm reading a book, my mind's gonna wander off to somewhere else.
Dude, I gotta tell you about something, and you're gonna think I'm crazy, but friend of mine, I don't know if you've heard of lion's mane and things like that. These functional mushrooms. I'm not trying to turn this into a shameful plug, but me and my wife, we started. First, it was me. I got this thing called Mastermind, which is like the natural, like Adderall or something like that. It's non-medicinal, but it has certain kind of mushrooms in it, like lion's mane, cordyceps, and I take two like tentacles every morning, and I'm focused as heck.
Mm-hmm. Oh man.
You need to unlock your iPhone first. It's crazy. I have an artist who I'm producing, and she has ADHD, and she's on the spectrum. And I'm like, hey, you want to try this? And now she did a video about how great it is.
Yeah.
Have you heard of those?
I don't think so. Actually, no. Yeah, I have. I think I've seen it off of like a TikTok before. I've definitely heard of the lions.
Yeah,
Lion's
Lions, man.
Yeah.
I've never. When I was a child in Hungary, they wanted to put me on Ritalin, but it really dimmed me down, like I was a zombie. And
Yeah.
ever since then, I was really worried about being in that stage. You know, I've recently, or last year, the doctor who diagnosed me on the autism spectrum, he recommended that I try Vyvanse, which is, if you don't have good insurance, it's very expensive, like can be hundreds of dollars. Have you heard of Vyvanse?
I have, and I'm just like you. I've actually, when I was younger, I was actually on medication for ADHD, but
What were you taking?
I can't remember what it was, but I do know it was just
Adderall?
like you.
Adderall, Vyvanse, and what's the other one that I said? I don't remember.
I honestly don't remember either, but I do know my mom was like, you know, I was kind of like a zombie whenever I did take it. Kind of like my personality just completely left me. You know, I'd just be just sitting there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is interesting because I have days where it's better managed and I'm really creative. I can get a lot of shit done. But there are days where my focus is nowhere to be found.
Yeah. No.
And it's hard because I've had people who called me, oh, you're just lazy. You're procrastinating. And I'm like, that's one way to put it, but it might not be the right way.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of, and you know, I have my moments, especially with music too, especially when I'm writing. It's like I have to be doing something along with writing. For example, I think I write my best whenever I'm like just playing the game and I have like whatever track I want to write to and just have it in the background. And I'm just, because I think my problem is I got to fidget with something in order to like really pay attention to somebody or something.
Okay, I'm gonna show you something. Just stay there. I'm
All
gonna. We've got a lot of fidget toys here, and let me show you this. You might like it. Check this out, brother.
This is definitely something I would spend like, yeah. I would definitely carry around.
That was one of my gifts for my wife because she has so many fidget toys.
Yeah.
And honestly, I got into this game recently called Days After, and it's a problem. But I like playing, and I'm thinking so much. I'm like fixing shit in my head. Probably not a good way, but I have to limit that game. But that thing is cool.
Yeah. And, you know, whenever the fidget spinners were out, too, I was hooked onto those for the longest because, like, I don't know, I just liked fidgeting when it's, you know, stuff while I was, especially in class, I would always have one. But, yeah, even in class, though, it was hard to even focus in there. I was probably, I guess you can say, like, the class clown, especially
Me
in
too.
school. Because I just could not sit down and focus, man. I just had to be doing something stupid.
Me too. You know what? The problem I had with that is then people thought I was only a clown.
Yeah.
And then people didn't take me seriously. So usually folks who knew me longer knew the deeper side of me instead of just the guy who does all the wordplay and all the jokes.
Yeah.
You know, and thinking back, it definitely had to do with that. Plus, also, in a way, I wanted to feel like I can fit in. I never really felt like I could fit in. Cause, you know, ever since I played guitar, I've been, I didn't give a crap about drinking alcohol. A lot of kids in my high school were drinking alcohol very early. I'm not a big alcohol guy.
I'm not either.
And it hits me harder. Like, I drink a beer and I'm floating.
Yeah. And, you know, yeah, because I probably have a beer probably now once every month. But even then, like, around that time when I just first started, like, getting into the drinking world, I just didn't like it. You know, I didn't really see a big thing of how people could drink it almost every day to cope with it.
Same.
I just couldn't find no enjoyment in it.
Same. I could not understand why people like all that barfing and all that.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Well, like, that sounds miserable.
Being drunk is not a good feeling. I hate that. I hate that.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. Wow, I've learned so much about you. That's one of the reasons I love like 101 and just having discussions with folks in this setting, because I don't like going to bars. I don't like going to like this big crowded areas. You don't hear crap of what the other person's saying. So when I go to like a writer's round, I hear everybody talk.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, I'm ready to check out.
Yeah, I have a social battery for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if I'm out and stuff like that, or even at somebody's occasion, I probably got like a good hour or two in me, into where I'm just fully drained out, just want to go home.
How are you experiencing like sound, noise, and things like that when you're out and about?
Depends. Like what's an
Like, is it
example?
overwhelming? Is it too much? Do you wear noise canceling headphones?
When I record,
Oh, no, when you're outside.
when I'm outside,
Yeah.
let's say, for example, like when I go to the gym, I have to have something in my ears, because like I don't like hearing all the weights clanging and other people grunting. It kind of just throws me off. It really does.
Same.
Like my energy goes everywhere, man. Like I can just feel it, but it just throws me off. So I gotta have headphones, earbuds, or something, or it's just gonna throw me off. The whole workout's just gonna be trash, you know.
I'm with you. I totally understand. So there's this thing. Have you heard of this word called universal design?
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that, but okay, with that, thinking about how can something work for most folks, folks with like light sensitivities, hearing sensitivities. Well, my wife and I, we went to a couple of gyms, and the lighting was absolutely like trash.
Yeah.
Or like it was extremely loud pumping music. And I remember she went and asked them, "Hey, could you guys turn down the music? I'm on the spectrum." And they didn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Which is exactly opposite of universal design.
Yeah.
You know, we had to find a spot that had areas where you can kind of have your own space, work out. And we love the Clarksville Athletic Club. It's ginormous, man. It's like 8 rooms, multiple saunas, and you can, even if there are like not hundreds, but a lot of cars, you can find your own spot.
Mm-hmm.
I always wear something, and if my AirPod dies, I'm like, I gotta have something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It throws you off. And you know, like, especially like with working out, you know, it's the same way with music. I really do not like working out with other people. I mean, like, for example, like me and my girlfriend, whenever we would go back in Kentucky, we would go at the same time, but we wouldn't stay with each other, you know. Cause like I don't like, you know, when I'm there, I kind of just want to do my own little thing, be in my own world.
I feel you.
Have my own goal. Like I don't mind going with people, but like lifting with people is kind of like my last resort. Cause at the same time, you lift with people, your workout's probably going to be like about over an hour. You're going to be in there a lot longer. To where if you're just in there by yourself, locked in, you're going to be out like 45 minutes to an hour. And I just feel like you're more connected to what you're doing, you know. Just like with music, you know, if I'm by myself, well, which of course I have the engineer with me, but that's an exception. But if I'm there by myself, I just feel like it's just me and music, and I just feel like I can connect to it a lot more. So I'm really a type of person. I just like being alone. I like having a lot of alone time. That's the way that keeps me going, I guess you can say. There's a lot of things I like doing alone.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I always call myself extroverted introvert.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm very good at being social. I'm friendly.
Yeah.
But I always have like topics to talk about. Like, you know, whenever I go somewhere, I have like prepared things that I could talk about. But I'm not a fan of like small talk per se. But I always like connecting on a deeper level. You know, and I never really read people, I guess, or never. You know, like some people are naturally good at reading people.
Yeah.
What are your experiences in that realm?
Reading people, I could definitely read people.
You can read people. Interesting.
I can feel. I'm a big energy person, like I said.
Huh.
I can feel people's energy, especially if I'm connected to that person. Like, for example, me and my girlfriend, I've been with her for about going on 2 years now. So like,
Nice.
I'm connected with her. So like, she's upset or anything like that, I can feel it. Like, you know, even if you're off at the slightest bit, I can feel it. But I can also read people, like strangers, I guess you can say, in a way.
Interesting.
I can definitely tell like their vibe. But you know, I never judge a book by its cover or anything, but I don't know, man. I could just feel like people's vibes, I guess you can say.
Huh. I think I had troubles with unauthentic body language.
That
You know when people hold back or don't say certain things or they, say the opposite things. That could be. I don't know. I remember my mom bought me a book when I was a kid, How to Read People. It was written by a CIA guy teaching certain things,
yeah.
which was pretty interesting. Wow, very interesting. So I remember you were telling me about your song that you're dropping soon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about your song that you're dropping.
So I'm kind of in between two songs right now.
Mm-hmm.
This one I just worked that I told you I was going to record next week. I feel like has a lot of potential on it. So as an artist, my primary focus this year is to write more genuine songs because I feel like last year I was too caught up in trying to write songs just hoping that they would blow up, like trendy songs that I guess you can say would be more likely popular in a way. But this year I just feel like I want to be in my own world as far as music. So this year I'm staying with the country genre, but I feel like in order for me to write good songs with country, I have to write for me, from my own like I guess you can say experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So like this year I'm basically trying to write more songs that with more meaning, people that songs that people can relate to. But yeah, so this next song is more it's kind of in the love world, but it's like I want to talk about the downside of the love world as well, that people can connect to. But I'm not just writing about that this year. I'm kind of basically just life experiences, just genuine songs, stuff like that. And some of the songs I write, they might not be something I went through, but something that other people has went through. You know what I mean? But I just feel like I'm really at my best work whenever I write songs that make sense, and that's more likely what my next song is going to be. It's just going to be very heartfelt. It's going to make sense to people that's been through it, even though if you haven't been through it, you're still going to connect with it. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Which song is that?
So,
Or that's just the overall theme?
it's just the overall theme. I'm kind of back and forth with the title right now, but it's just the overall theme. I think it's going to be a very, very emotional song, but like at the same time, it's going to be a song that you can vibe with it. Like it's not going to be anything depressing or anything like that. It's also a song like, you can just turn on and enjoy it at the same time.
What do you hope people get from the song when they listen to it?
I just hope what I want them to get is that like, that I'm passionate with music, that I'm a good songwriter, and basically like we all go through the same things in life at some time. Like we all go through something at some point in our life. So I definitely want to write or be like looked at as like the artist that people can go to for like, comfort or anything like that. For example, you like big artists like for example, Juice World, you're familiar with him?
Oh, yeah.
People always went to him because, they feel like his music they related to. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to be, like the artist people can relate to, people can go to in times where, they're just not understood. Because, I feel like music is I feel like it's the therapist a lot of ways, especially in my life, and I just want to be that person that people can come to and listen to my music and just feel connected.
Wow, that's a beautiful message.
As if I'm there with them, you know what I mean?
Wow, that's very cool.
That's my goal this year, just to be a more meaningful artist.
What habits do you have that you do day to day that feels contributes to being a better version of yourself?
As far as like music or just
Personal.
personal, so I'm very religious. Every morning when I wake up, I read a scripture from the Bible. That I tend to work out every day. That I'm big on, physical fitness as well.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as like bettering my mentality, definitely reading the Bible, just thinking positive, even though sometimes it can be hard. But definitely those two things: the Bible, fitness, and music. I listen to music all the
The
time.
trifecta.
Yeah, I listen to like it's nothing is better than listening to music. Even it don't matter what mood I'm in, music always just seems to fit in. Like because I listen to everything. There's not a genre I really do not listen to. So, and I pretty much got a genre for any mood you can think of. To be honest with you, like people probably don't even think when they see me. Like when I go to the gym, I listen to bands like AC/DC, Queen, stuff like that.
Wow, cool.
It really just depends on the mood, you know what I mean? But like, yeah, stuff like that definitely contributes to my, day-to-day life. It helps me keep me going. And I also write. I try to write every day now. That also helps as well.
I think that's good that. Let me rephrase it. I think if somebody isn't open minded with all these different styles, that could be limiting to what can influence them as a songwriter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
You
learned
know.
that. Yeah.
I had a teacher in Hungary, keyboard guy, who said every time he learns a different genre, that kind of strengthens something else in his playing.
Mm-hmm.
He's a big jazz guy,
That's what I definitely encourage artists to do too. Like,
Yeah.
especially even if you just want to rap, tap into like R&B and older rap. Just study the lyrics and how, their flows and stuff like that. Because for the longest, I got trapped to where I was just listening to rap, and eventually I noticed how like in my older songs, like it's basically saying the same things because I didn't have a broad enough like music catalog. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
So like over the years, I just been listening to pretty much everything. And when I went away for the Army, I kind of really studied and realized that, because in the Army you meet a lot of people, meet a lot of different people, and and I just be talking to them what music y'all listen to, and I would just try it out. And ever since then, like there's not a single genre that you can turn on and be like, I don't like it. Like there's at least one song I like in each genre.
I love music because of that. It's such a connecting factor. I did experience once where when I was trying to utilize a genre and somebody told me that I was appropriating or cultural appropriating because I used African rhythms or something, which I think is somewhat limiting, or it's the opposite of what music should be.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think when it comes to that?
As far as like, what do you mean? Exactly?
Like, when you're learning all these styles, should you be afraid that somebody is going to look at it in a negative way that you're utilizing a different genre?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I think as an artist, it's just going to make you
I don't
better.
think so. Well, then what are you supposed to say when somebody calls you a appropriator of that cultural music?
Well, I mean, honestly, there's nothing really wrong with it. I think people are just afraid of different.
And that can be a problem sometimes. A lot of times.
Yeah.
If people are not... That's what's cool or interesting about music styles is, in a way, you're seeing different perspectives.
Yeah.
And you're opening your eyes. So what if it was a rock? What if my song was not a country song? What if it was this? I mean, I remember I had exercises where I had to turn one song into 10 different genres. And you can't be like, this is better than that. It's just different.
Yeah.
It's in a way, I'm like, okay, well then, how can I say the same thing when it comes to mindsets or thoughts? There are better things that better works, but other people's life experiences and other people's way of upbringing and things like that can shape what choices they make.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't think Polaroid thing or polarizing thinking is necessarily good.
Yeah.
I think having an open mind and having the ability to see other points of views can definitely influence a musician.
Definitely.
Because then you're putting that into like musical world. What if this was something else?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Just a thought.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I definitely, because like, for example, I didn't really get into country music until I was like, I knew a handful of country songs because, in Kentucky, you would hear them often. I really didn't start like making a playlist for country music till I was like maybe like 20 years old because, I was raised for the most part around like the rap and the R&B, mainly R&B music, So like, I feel like as an artist, you definitely should get out your comfort zone and be more open-minded, especially with like genres, because it's only going to make you a better artist over time.
I agree.
Because you can learn from every artist.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know where people come from. Actually, now that I said that out loud, I had an idea. Maybe people are afraid or self-limiting if they are not looking at these other styles.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess for some people it worked out because they really honed in a specificity. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just a theory. Interesting. So, what do you want the listeners to know about you as an artist? What is your artist name?
Our artist name is DatBoiiCG. Listeners, one thing about me, I'm very versatile, for sure. I probably got a song in almost every different genre you could really think of. Besides rock, I don't think I've done that yet. But I'd definitely be open to it because, like you said, keeping an open mind is very good as an artist. But I definitely have a wide catalog and a lot of different types of music, for sure. So I feel like listeners can connect to any song I have, whether you're just trying to, whatever mood you in, like sad, happy, even songs that you just want to get lit and dance to. I have that as well. But also this year, like I said, I'm an artist that really wants to focus on writing better lyrics, songs that people can relate to at the same time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Where can people find you?
They can find me on Spotify. Well, all platforms, basically.
All platforms.
All
What do they
platforms.
type in?
They type in DatBoiiCG, DatBoiiCG.
Awesome. And your next song is sometimes next month.
The goal is next month for sure, because I
Next
have
month.
not dropped a song since October, because I've been trying to rebuild my sound and make it better, more professional like. And but yeah, it's going to be definitely a good song for sure.
And for listeners and viewers out there, it is February. So if you're seeing this in March, next month is March. Whenever you're seeing it,
Yeah.
make sure to look him up and check out his music. And that was it with today's episode of Caffeinated Creatives. And we were uncaffeinated. I did have some coffee this morning, but that was it. Thank you so much, and check out my future episodes. And now I think we're going to try to record some performance.
Yep.
Yep. All right, let's get to it. All right. See you next time.
How did you right while you treated me wrong? I should've known, wished I let you alone. You so trouble, oh. I seen the mess in your phone. I seen the night where you told him it's fine to come over, oh. Girl, I done heard plenty, telling lies too many. I'm screaming, who is he? Is he one or many? I need a shot of Jack to keep me from getting busy. Made me wanna go scream and shout, yelling words of many, oh no. I can't take it anymore, no. Yeah, she got me screaming, no, no. I can't take it anymore, no. You so troubled, baby, why you playing games on me? She got me taking shots to keep me just from going crazy. I should've known you tend to think about yourself only. I'm trying to wash away the problems and the pain you gave me, oh no. I can't take it anymore, no. Yeah, she got me screaming, no, no. I can't take it anymore, no. I wish the best for you, now you can go away. Lost all my feelings for you, this shit gon' end today. I'm moving on, oh baby, watch as I turn the page. Watch me walk around with my new girl, take your breath away. You know the game, don't you? Yeah, girl, the games you play. Girl, I done took the hint, I'm gonna do the same. These memories we had, forget them, they down the drain. Shots of whiskey just to try and cope and take away the pain. You so troubled, baby, why you playing games on me? She got me taking shots to keep me just from going crazy. I should've known you tend to think about yourself only. I'm trying to wash away the problems and the pain you gave me, oh no. I can't take it anymore, no. Yeah, she got me screaming, oh no. I can't take it anymore, no. I can't take it anymore.